Good afternoon once again. Welcome back to the Baton Rouge Regional, the women's NCAA tournament. It's now time to talk Jackson State as they will take on LSU in the second game on Saturday. That's at 4 o'clock at the Maravich Assembly Center. Head coach Tamika Reed will be joining us shortly, but first we are pleased to be joined by, to my immediate left, a graduate center, Amisha Williams-Holiday, who was the SWAC Player of the Year and the SWAC Defensive Player of the Year. And at the far end of the table is graduate guard Deja Reagan, who is a two-time SWAC tournament MVP. As we have been doing, for those who have questions here in person, please raise your hand. We'll bring a microphone to you if you'll silence your phones for us. And those who are joining us on Zoom, if you have a question, if you'll raise your hand, we will come to you as soon as we get done with questions here. I know you all are familiar with Baton Rouge because of playing on the Bluff, but welcome back. Congratulations on your success and making it to the tournament. And we will open up the floor for questions for Amisha or for Deja.
This will be for both players, if you would. Just the idea of being here and being so successful and kind of being battle tested to this point, what is it about all of those experiences that have prepared you for this moment? Is it just a kind of continuation of the same season, or do you feel like now is your time to really prove, you know, the brand that you guys have established all season long?
We're very excited to be here and, you know, to be back in the NCAA tournament. We got here last year, but, you know, I think we all were a little nervous. It was our first time. But this year I think we're mentally prepared. I think we prepared ourselves through preseason, playing tougher teams. So I think that has got us back to where we are now. And we're looking to, you know, show who we are as Jackson State Lady Tigers.
I think we are very ready. We didn't have a good showing last time we was in the NCAA tournament, so I think this go around we'll show who we are and keep our consecutive record going.
Last season, you guys played a Kim Mulkey-led team in Baylor. What are you expecting from LSU heading in? And Deja, you can go first.
What we are expecting from LSU. Well, they have the same coach, so, you know, she's a very winning coach, so we know they're not going to lay down, and we aren't either. So, you know, it's going to be tough, and I know competitive. It's not going to be easy, but I think we can pull it out. I think now would be the time to pull it out.
I think we are more familiar with her working system, so if we play hard as we can and being tough, we'll be ready for it.
Deja, let me ask you, you talked a little bit at the SWAC tournament about kind of feeling your groove again, feeling your shot since coming back from injury. Talk a little bit about your confidence coming into this game.
Well, winning the SWAC championship, that game, it gave me a lot of confidence coming into this NCAA tournament. Practicing-wise, we've been, you know, putting up shots and getting ready, so I'm very confident going into this game. Even if shots don't fall, I'm focusing on defense because defense wins games.
Yeah, Amisha, I guess same thing, defense travels, right? And you guys are averaging around 9 blocks a game. I saw your in-conference blocks were almost the same as your out-of-conference blocks. So obviously, you know, it has nothing to do with who you're playing or where you're playing, that kind of thing. Just talk about how important defense is to y'all's game and being successful.
Defense is very important. As our coach say, defense wins games. So we go out and play good defense, we will pull out the win.
Okay, this question for both young ladies. How important is it to go in as a number 14 seed?
It's very important. Last year, I think we got 16 seed. So this year, as winning all our games in conference, you know, we were close to winning in preseason, but we went undefeated in conference. So I think that helped us get a 14 seed. So I'm very grateful for getting the 14 seed because I think it's a good matchup against LSU.
Just for both of you, I think you start all upperclassmen. I know 3 seniors and a couple of juniors. What does that afford you? Whether it's just the experience to kind of withstand a run, the ability to kind of know each other and complement one another with your games. Where is it a benefit for y'all?
Go ahead.
Let me see. I think, well, in practice, as they show how good they play in practice, then that's who my coach gonna ride with. So if you practice good, you'll play good. So I don't think the classification is the meaning of who gets on the floor or how they go.
I think classification doesn't matter, but you want to have your experienced players out there that know each other, just like me and Misha are grad seniors, so we know what are we gonna do. Like I know when she wants the ball, I know when to give it to her. So I think we have that IQ with each other.
And this question's for Deja. Would you talk about going against Kayla Pointer? I know you're probably not going to guard her the whole game, but just going up against a player of that caliber and what that does for you.
Well, as far as film, she's a nice point guard that can handle the ball. I'm not afraid to go against her. I know I'll have to stop her. In order for us to win, I have to be competitive. So I'm gonna do the best I can defensively, to get stops for her, for our team.
This one's for Deja. You got injured a little over a month ago. How are you feeling physically right now and mentally going into the NCAA tournament? Have you had time to rest?
Could you repeat that? I'm sorry.
You're fine. No apologies necessary. But you got injured a little bit over a month ago. How are you feeling physically and mentally going into the NCAA tournament?
My injury, it set me back a little bit. I wasn't expecting to be out that long. I thought it was just going to be like a minor ankle sprain, but I found out it was a grade 2. I was out for a good bit. I rehabbed a lot. My mental, I thought I was just going to be able to get back out there and be myself, but I wasn't. So I just kept working hard mentally to get myself back in that mental state and practicing so I could be back for this tournament. Now I got my confidence back. I think I'm ready physically and mentally.
Deja, you mentioned confidence twice already, picking it up in the SWAC championship tournament and then just playing with confidence. Now, the clip went viral of your coach saying, we're coming for you, Kim Mulkey, whatever. Obviously, you guys have a lot of confidence, right, that comes with the success that you had. How key is that to keep that, and play with that kind of swagger, if you will?
Well, in these type of games, it's March Madness. You don't want to come in timid, scared, or nothing to play. Like, this is time to compete. This is the time to show who you are. This is the time to, put on for your state, city, or whatever. So I think you should have a lot of confidence coming into these type of games. Anything can happen.
This is for both of you. You guys talked a little bit about chemistry. Amisha, what does Deja do well and bring to this team? Deja, what does Amisha do well and bring?
Deja plays good defense. When she gets stops at the top of the key, it hypes me up. I be happy. When she gets steals, I love it. But she have good. I just love her defense. So that's what I like about it.
Misha is a great post player. She's good. If I get beat, I know she'll block somebody's shot. I know she'll have my back. She's good when we need to score and we need a play ran. She's good at finishing. Coach tells us to lob it up. She'll go get it, of course, as tall as she is. But we can always count on Misha to get it done.
Going into this week of practice, what's been the point of emphasis on facing LSU?
Defense. But staying down, walling up, and playing aggressive and not giving up, just playing hard defense.
Being solid and getting stops will be the key, and mental. I heard about their fan base. We can't let none of that get in our head. We just have to have a strong mentality and work hard together. But defense is going to win the game.
Anybody else here? We're clear on Zoom right now. Anybody else here? I'm going to ask each of you a question. Deja, I'm going to start with you. You all turned a 1-4 December into a 21-game win streak for the calendar year of 2022. At what point did you realize when you all had made the switch that you had found something that's working?
Honestly, When we played preseason, we were close to those games, and I knew we found something then. When we came close to those, top teams, we competed with them. We were solid. We worked together, and from that moment forward, I knew then that we were going to be a very special team.
Amisha, you all have dipped your toe into the SEC 3 times this season. Before you got to SWAC play, you played at Ole Miss, you played Arkansas, and you played Mississippi State, and all of them, while they were losses, all very respectable and close games. What do you draw from 3 games, or can you draw from 3 games against teams in the SEC to face another SEC team tomorrow?
As the scores was low, I think going into this game, we are ready to pull it off, because when we played in the beginning of the season, it was kind of tough, but let me see how to put it.
You got it.
Come on, try to repeat that
Take your
question for
time.
me again.
I was just asking the fact that you faced 3 teams already in the SEC. You faced them in December. They were all losses, but close losses. I was just asking you, what can you draw from them, if anything, going up against another SEC team tomorrow?
We just remember that how hard and how tough we played those games. Just go out and play this game as if we want to win, and play it as if how we played it in the beginning of the season when we played those teams.
For both of you, what do you think is the biggest difference between your team now from previous games against SEC teams?
What do I think is the biggest difference? You go ahead with that, Miss. Can you repeat again? I'm sorry.
You're fine. Let me rephrase it a little bit differently. What do you think is your biggest area of growth? Like, you guys had those close games earlier on in the season. How do you think you guys have grown so that maybe this time around it's a different result?
Oh, well, when we played those preseason games, we were just getting started. We had added some new players, so we didn't have all the pieces put together by then. We were just learning each other and learning how we play. But, so far as we've gone through SWAC play, I think we've grown together as a team. So I think we got what it takes.
Yeah, we have better chemistry, I think, playing from the beginning to the end. So I think our chemistry is better now, and we know how each of each other play. So I think the chemistry is better than it was in the beginning.
This is for both of you. We'll start with Amisha if you want. Just being tall helps, but you guys are 8th in the country in rebounding. Obviously, that's a commitment to doing it. What is the key to being that good at it?
Just boxing out on defense and hitting swim on offense, and trying to get every board, and having not just one post player going to get the rebounds, having at least 3 going in and rebound.
We practice on, we have rebounding drills where we practice blocking out, so we know our opponents are going to be good rebounders as well. So we have to, be tough. We're not going to be able to just be athletic and go get it. You have to block out and secure the rebound. So I think that's our key into rebounding.
Ladies, we have one question for you via Zoom before we let you all go and get Coach Reed up here. You'll listen in on the speaker here. Michael Jefferson. Michael, if you will unmute yourself and let us know if your question is for Amisha or for Deja. Michael, go ahead.
Yes, good afternoon. This is Michael Jefferson with Block Sports, and my question is for any of the one that's on the panel. Since you played against other SEC schools and now you're playing against LSU, how do you think you match up against LSU?
I think we match up with LSU really well. Last year when we were here, we played Baylor, and they were big in size. We didn't have a good team with height last year, but our coach has recruited some really good players that match up in size. I think we match up with them well offensively and defensively. So I think it's going to be a good competitive game.
Very good. Any others? Amisha Williams-Holiday, and Deja Rogan. Thank you all very much for your time. Congratulations again on your season, and good luck against LSU tomorrow. We'll be back shortly with Coach Reed and talk more with Jackson State. Until then, a recording of this press conference will be available in the NCAA Digital Media Hub at ncaa.veritone.com. Transcripts are provided by ASAP and will be posted shortly, and we'll be back shortly with Coach Reed. Until then, thank you for joining us. Welcome to the Baton Rouge Regional for the Women's NCAA Tournament. As we continue talking with Jackson State, we're pleased to be joined by head coach Tamika Reed. Her Jackson State team, 23-6, 18-0 in the SWAC play. They've won 21 straight. That's the longest winning streak in the country, and making their second straight tournament appearance. For those here in person, once again, we remind you, raise your hand. We'll bring a microphone to you. If you're joining us via Zoom, if you'll raise your hand on the Zoom call, we will come to you once we take care of the in-person questions. Coach, as I told you, players, I know you're familiar with Baton Rouge, coming to play on the Bluff, so welcome back.
Thank you.
Congratulations on your on making it to your second straight tournament, and I'll give you the floor to make an opening comment before we open it up to questions.
Awesome. Just really excited to be here. My team has done a phenomenal job this season. We had a tough run in preseason, obviously going 1-5 in preseason, really close in those games. Everybody looked at us and celebrated that with moral victories. And that was a point that we really wanted to win those games. You know, as you build a program, after you win championships each year, you want to do something different. And having national prominence, national attention, winning those big games was something that was really important to us. And nevertheless, we were on a hike, a journey to get back here to the NCAA tournament after having such a poor showing on last year against Baylor. The first thing I said after the game to the team was, we will be back. and we did that. My staff did a phenomenal job in recruiting a really good team with Power 5 players, high major players, and just really getting them to jail early in the season and to all get on one accord was all a part of this journey. And here we are now, longest winning streak in the country, passing a great Stanford, and now getting ready to face a really good LSU. I'm just extremely ecstatic and very proud of my ball team.
Hey, Coach.
Hi.
You faced Kim Mulkey last season. What's one thing that you kind of saw last year, and what are you expecting from a different Kim Mulkey-led team this season?
Kim is a winner. She's a winner. She's a go-getter. She's extremely feisty, a lot of intensity, very passionate, and all of those characteristics lead to championship programs. And she instills that into her team. She inherited a lot of her players, and you see players that are different players this year compared to what they were last year. She just brings out the best in her team. She's brought that winning mentality over to LSU. She's going to have her team playing tough. She's going to have them being aggressive. They've set out after losing in the SEC tournament, so they have been resting, and they are ready. And so I just think that we'll see a really good, tough team, and Kim is just a phenomenal coach that I have looked up to for a long time. She's a coach that don't let up. Obviously, last year against Baylor, she didn't let up on us. So that's the type of person that she is. She's a hard-nosed, go-getter, aggressive, tough cookie, winning coach. I have a lot of respect for her.
Coach Reed, back here. I wanted to ask a question, and you made the statement at the SWAC tournament that this roster was fashioned in the model of a Power 5 team. Talk a little bit about how that came together and what you saw from the game against Baylor last year that kind of transitioned into this year.
After we played Baylor last season, when we lost that game, it kind of diminished everything we had done in the conference. It took away that experience. It took away that excitement. It took away that we were SWAC champions, because all the focus was on what we did in that game against Baylor. And so for me, obviously you want to get back here, but you want to have a better showing. You want to walk away from the table knowing, hey, we had a shot at that one. And so in order to do that, we had to amp up our recruiting. We needed bigger guards. I told my staff I want 6-foot guards. I told my staff I want big post players. In the SWAC conference, they play 4 guards and 1 post, and you're talking about the average height at the point guard being about 5'2", and at the forward position, the average height is about 5'9". Well, in order to compete against Power 5 institutions in the NCAA, you have to match them height for height, pound for pound. So I wanted my 4 players to be 6'2", 6'3", and I wanted my centers to be 6'4", 6'5". We signed a 6'5" post player that would have been great for us this year, top 5 player in the country in high school. We didn't get her eligible, but having her on a roster would have helped tremendously. But with that being said, the other players match up well. The Deja Woodard, 6'2" post player. LaMiracle Sims, who's athletic. She's 5'10", but she's athletic and she's strong as an ox. And then you have, Maya Crump from the University of Houston, who's extremely tall and athletic and tough and aggressive. And you match them with your Deja Rogans, Player of the Year last year, when Amisha Williams, Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, back to back to back. So you match that and get that chemistry for them. That's one heck of a team. And I think, they understood the assignment early. We want to do something that's never been done. And they knocked on that door early in preseason against those Power 5 institutions. Now now we're hoping to knock that door down.
I have a couple, just a follow-up to that one. How many of the girls are new to this year's team?
We have 6 new players. Wow. Yeah.
Okay, that kind of blows my mind. 59-4, I think, is your record in the SWAC over the last 3 years. So to add 6 new players, how did it work? How were you able to keep that consistency?
That's a great question. The demands were high. The expectations never lowered. And the returners understood that success is what we breed. And, we have to get to the tournament. We can't go backwards. And so when you're constantly preaching that message early in the season, the newcomers have to get it. They have to understand. In order to be something special, it has to work. We have to all fit. And so I think our players did a great job in translating that message to our newcomers, and our coaches did a great job in them getting that message that, we are here to win. You are here to win, and we have to figure it out. We have to get together. We have to play together. The chemistry has to be there. So I think that helped. The team helped itself, making that connection with the new players.
Hey, Coach. First of all, congratulations on being here. LSU comes in, they won 8 of 9, you won 21 in a row. How confident is your team coming into this?
I think our team is extremely confident, but I think the word that I would use is poised and comfortable. I don't think it's an over-anxiousness that we saw last year. I think it's here we go with another opportunity. Not saying this is the NCAA. This is another opportunity to accomplish something we set out to accomplish in our goals that we set early in the year. We had 6 goals that we wanted to accomplish. We accomplished all except for one, and that was to beat a Power 5 team. So I think right now they are extremely comfortable. They are poised. They are solid, and they are prepared. And going 21 wins in a row, I think that lights some fire under them as well to keep it rolling. We have something to run off of now.
Coach, the players talked about being a little jittery in that game last year against Baylor. Have you seen a change in the mental toughness through this season? Have you seen that built upon?
I have. This is a really special team, you guys. They have a lot of mental strength, a lot of mental empowerment that has happened over this season. When we won the regular season championship, I said, all right, y'all, we're gonna cut the nets down. And they were like, nah, we'll cut them down to the SWAC tournament. And I said, wow, that's a big statement. And I was like, we got to get there. We'll cut them down to the SWAC tournament, Coach. So I said, well, y'all take those nets down and bring them to my office, and I'll get them some pieces off of it. And they went to the SWAC tournament and did just that. They won. They cut the nets down. We celebrated. But when I got into the locker room after the game, it was no overly excitement. They were relaxed. They were on their phones. They had their hats on. The trophy was just sitting on the side. Not a whole lot of pictures going on. That's after they threw the cooler at me, by the way. And I saw a lot of composure. And when I gave my spiel, I said, y'all, it's just something left in your tank. You just look like you're on a mission for something else. Just the same look I got after the regular season championship is the look I got after the SWAC championship. It's something else we want to go do. And so this is just a really, really, really special team.
Coach, she might not be 6 feet tall, but she's been very effective for you. I think she's listed at, 5'4", Deja Rogan?
Absolutely.
Can you talk a little bit about her play and what it means and what she brings to the team when she's hot and consistent?
Deja Rogan is a major piece to the puzzle. She is, everybody sees her offense. For me, it's the defense. When she's in the forefront defending the way we need her to defend, she just sets the tone for the entire team. And sometimes when you're such an impact offensively, when your offensive game isn't going the way you want it to go, it tends to disturb something else. And so we're constantly telling her, you are great on both ends. If one is not going right, do the other. And she has her moments, but what I love about Deja Rogan is that she's extremely resilient. She bounced back extremely fast. She doesn't stay down too long. And when she's up, she's up. When she's hyped, she's hyped. When she's down, she's not there long. She's a major piece of the program. And, going into the SWAC tournament championship game, she had not been having the best games offensively. And I just sat and talked to her. I said, what offense do you like? What do you want to run? I said, now we run this offense for you. You hadn't been coming up ready to shoot. And she looked at me. She said, Coach, I just want to get my team involved. And I said, all right, well, I need you to get involved too. So she's just a great sport, and she understands what it is that we need for her to do. She's such a key person to this team. We played 2 games without her, and I thought I wasn't going to make it. But we were able to pull it out, and I saw the team grow. We needed the team to grow in those 2 games. But when she returned when we really needed her. We didn't have our point guard. She was injured. She had to play limited minutes in that game. We were down about 10 to Arkansas Pine Bluff, and she came off the bench and gave us a great 17 points with limited minutes. And so she is a very, very, very important piece to our puzzle.
Quick follow-up to that. Can you talk about her dealing with an injury and you and your coaching staff kind of keeping her involved, keeping her confident? So when March Madness, when you guys did make the NCAA tournament, she's ready, she's confident.
Yeah, I told Deja it's more important to have her later than now. You know, we were able to play. We played 2 of the toughest games in conference without her. The toughest 2 games we played without her. And I told her I really wanted her to focus on her rehab. I wanted her to focus on her therapy. I wanted her to be okay. The only thing I was worried about is her next. I was never worried about her at Jackson State. I was worried about her missing opportunity to play professional basketball because the injury she had was a 4 to 6 week injury. I said, Deja, you sit out 4 to 6 weeks, that's the entire season. And her and our athletic trainer worked extremely hard. They did a lot of rehab. I mean, they were in the gym early mornings, late nights, and she just pushed through to get better. And so, you know, I'm just really proud of her and her efforts and how hard she worked to get through that injury.
Coach, let me ask this question. And year in, year out, when we get to March Madness, one of the prevailing themes when a lower seed takes on a higher seed is physicality of the game, playing through the physicality. And I wanted to ask about the mental toughness of this team in terms of what they've seen in the preseason and throughout the season in terms of preparing for the physicality of tomorrow.
Well, you know, going against, you know, a top 15 team in Texas, playing Arkansas, a very gritty, tough, aggressive team. Ole Miss was really tough. And, you know, Mississippi State was really tough, and Mississippi State really, really got amped up for that game. And they were just real physical. It's just a lot of physical, tough play in the SEC. I'm watching film last night of my players, and I'm looking at how we're coming through screens and getting knocked off those screens, and they just play through it. As we prepare for those games in preseason and as we prepare for LSU, we go up against guys, and you know we have a practice squad that we go against. We do a lot of toughness drills to get the girls tough. We don't call calls. We'll play a scrimmage game and miss the fouls on purpose. And so you know I think that they are prepared for that physicality, and I told them to expect it. You have to expect that because that's the name of the game. And I'm just watching the officials throughout the tournament and how they've been calling the calls in the tournament, and it's been a very, very fair NCAA tournament thus far. They're letting the players play, and that's what you want. That's the consistency that you want. And so I think they're real well prepared for this physical play that LSU will give us tomorrow.
We have time for one more question.
Hey, Coach, were you aware that President Joe Biden picked Jackson State to win this game tomorrow?
Joe knows. Joe knows. Yeah, I saw that, and I'm just ecstatic. You know, that's more national attention for our program, and obviously, I love that respect level. I mean, really, that's huge, and so I'm very appreciative of that.
Coach, thank you for your time. Jackson State will practice from 4:30 to 6. The first 15 minutes will be open to the media. And once again, Jackson State will take on LSU at 4 o'clock Saturday. That's the second game of the day, as Missouri State will take on Ohio State at 1:30. Coach, thank you for your time. Again, congratulations and good luck. That's going to wrap up press conferences from Baton Rouge today. We'll be back on Saturday with post-game press conferences following both games. Until then, a recording of this press conference will be available in the NCAA Digital Media Hub at ncaa.veritone.com. Transcripts are provided by ASAP and will be posted shortly. Have a great evening, and thank you for joining us here in Baton Rouge.